Guest interview. I'm super excited to be interviewing a client and friend. Amy Crane is a Facebook ads expert and has managed over 50 million in ad spend. That's right, 50 million for clients. Operates a six-figure membership called Amplify and loves helping course creators get seen, get paid using Facebook ads. And I'm really excited to be talking all about how to leverage Facebook ads to either grow your group offer, like a membership or a group coaching program, and talk a little bit more about some of the strategies that are working right now. A lot of times when it comes to Facebook advertising and or social media in general, it's so much to deal with. I was just talking with Amy about how it's really hard these days to keep up with trends, to stay on top of all of the different changes in the organic space. And if you don't want to put in hours and hours of constantly posting to get seen everywhere, only to find that you're getting lackluster results and only seeing a couple hundred or 10 views, likes, and shares, then maybe it's time to think about paying to actually get results. Results for your lead generation strategy, results for your sales for your online courses and programs, and also perhaps even your services. So I'm really excited to bring Amy on. Amy, thank you so much for coming on today's session. I'm so excited
Yay!
to talk with you.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to chat about ads with you.
Yes, ads are definitely something that I've always wanted to dive into. And one of the fun things that I actually saw was Amy is one of my clients, but I actually was one of her students first because little did she know, I
It's such a
actually
small
was in
world.
I know, it's like but it's so funny because I joined your membership Amplify, and I found, and I don't think I've ever told you this, so here you go on live on camera. One of the things I really appreciated about you, Amy, is that you come not just from the marketing perspective, but that you're a really excellent teacher. And so, yeah, so I just
Thank
want to
you.
say all of your offers have been really helpful. I've looked through each one and been able to actually check mark, okay, my pixel is set up, I've got this taken care of. And when I was first starting dipping my toes into the ads world on Facebook, your courses were the best ones for me. And I have purchased many a Facebook ads course, and Amplify was the best starting point for me just to get started with placing my first 10 ads on Facebook. So thank you so much for your help.
Oh my God. Yes, of course. Thank you for that. I mean, that's the goal because I know ads are just can be overwhelming, right? When you're starting and it can feel very techy when you're talking about pixels. And so, the goal is just to make it really simple so that people can launch their first ad because I think a lot of people too feel like it has to be complicated to work, but it doesn't. Like it can be really simple. Um, you don't have to do big complicated things with it. You can do really simple things and it can still have a good or a positive impact on your business.
Yes, absolutely. And I know that we were talking before we started working together. I know we were just on Facebook and you saw one of my videos. I think it was a
Yeah.
reel. And you and I were talking about your agency, and I know that that has shifted a little bit for you over the last few
Yeah.
years. But what kind of made you want to shift into different types of offers? You already had an amazing membership, and we've talked a little
Yeah.
bit about the different offers you have. What's been kind of shifting for you in your business?
Oh God, so many things. I mean, I think it all started, with COVID and I had a baby. I mean, he's three, almost three now, but there's just so many kind of big shifts where I was just really kind of wondering, I've been an ads manager and had an agency for over 8 years. And we put a lot of work and time and energy to get that agency to where we wanted it to be and working with amazing clients and having an amazing team. And then but it's still it's a lot of energy. And at the end of the day, you're responsible for a lot of people and you're responsible for clients. Like I know you had an agency. So even though we had set it up in a way where we had time, we weren't working crazy hours, it still just took a lot of energy to run that kind of business. And at the same time, I had these other things I wanted to do. I had Amplify, but I just didn't have the time to do some of these other things, ideas that we talked about and we worked on together. And so I had to make a decision. I was like, do I want to keep going with the agency, or do I kind of want to make this shift and play with something new? And I felt like I had kind of accomplished what I wanted to with the agency, and I was ready to like jump in, do something new, because I'd always kind of done these courses like on the side. And so I was ready to kind of make that shift to where this would be like my main focus, and I could focus more and have more energy to put into those.
And I do
So
also
yeah,
appreciate the
equivalent.
fact, yeah, I do totally also appreciate the fact that, when it comes to looking at your energetics, there's a lot that goes into designing the business and the lifestyle that you want. And
Yeah,
part of that with being in a different stage in life, and I was just talking with one of my other mentors, is about if you have a family, your availability will drastically shift.
yeah, and my
And
energy levels, like I just don't have, because he gets all of my energy, right? Like I just don't have the same energy or like brain power that I had before. So it's like I have to be really focused on like where that goes, you know?
exactly, exactly. And the
Yeah,
ROI too on, okay, I could touch multiple different projects, and yeah, they might be a higher price tag, or I could maybe touch a couple of different people, and maybe they're paying a mid price, or maybe like a group program price, and then I'd be
yeah,
able to actually help them, and the expectations will be different with a group program versus a agency client. And while
yeah,
I do think that both of them are totally valid ways to go about growing a
sure.
business, the actually delivery and the energetics around it is going to be very, very different in the
Yeah,
delivery models, how you're actually showing up in your groups, you're delivering a curriculum, and it is work. Both of them are substantial amount of works. It's just about how do you want to design your life, and how do you actually want to
yeah,
deliver the assets to your clients? Is it going to be where you're touching this project, everything is very hyper specific, hyper detailed, it's very customized. And yeah, you can
right.
add in SOPs and you can build and hire more team members. But at the end of
Yeah,
the day, if it's just not really suiting your lifestyle, then maybe it's time to really look at, can we add another package for a group offer onto the table?
yeah,
Or maybe it's time to kind of reposition and package some of my available hours within the scope of a different package. So
yeah,
it's definitely interesting to kind of see you grow into this, and I'm super excited to kind of talk with you a little bit more about
yeah,
how we kind of optimized your group ideas, your structure, and your curriculum. So tell me
yeah.
more about Amplify for those people who maybe have never heard of Amplify before.
Yeah, so Amplify is my membership, and it's really, I created Amplify to be for like beginners, like anyone getting started. It's for coaches and course creators, like getting started with ads. They have a small budget, new to ads. Um, and so really kind of like diving into ads for like the first time and getting comfortable with ads. And so I also just, because I've had an agency and worked with so many clients, there's a lot of ad trainings out there, and there's a lot of like outdated strategies. There's a lot of, bro marketing and kind of icky strategies that like I don't agree with, and things that I wanted to really create a space where I could teach things that I saw working in real time for coaches and course creators. So, and actually Amplify, I didn't really kind of have a plan for it when I launched it. I just decided one day, I've got these courses and I was kind of tired of like trying to launch courses because I didn't have the time to do it. So I was like, I'm just going to put them all in a membership and we'll see what happens. And it worked really well, but then after 3 years, I felt like it was time to just kind of freshen it up and change it up, and then kind of pull in some of these other ideas that I had. Um, so yeah, that's why I came to you, was because I just had all these ideas in my head and I was like, what do I do with these?
Right.
Because I'm just like spinning in my head.
Yeah, I think one of the things that you had asked me before working with or during our time together, because you were so organized, I loved that we were able to just work on a Google document together and just kind of just piggyback off of these incredible ideas, was probably just the fact that you had already created so many assets. You'd already built like a
Yeah,
very comprehensive suite of either one off trainings or mini courses within your membership that ultimately did actually help the customer achieve that end learning goal. But it seemed like when we
yeah,
were working together, it was difficult to see the bigger picture, like the roadmap. Where is this going? How is
yeah,
this other offer going to be built out? How am I differentiating that from this? So,
yeah.
what was that like for you when we were kind of working together and kind of organizing that?
Yeah. So the goal was I wanted to have it amplified because I started to see that there were people in the membership that were moving into this place, or some people just wanted like more support, and but they weren't like quite ready to work with an agency either. So I wanted to create that higher level of amplify, because with the agency it was amplify and then it was come work with us one on one, and that worked great when I had the agency. It's where we got a lot of our one-on-one clients from. But I wanted to obviously shift away from that one-on-one work and then add in this like higher level group program where I could support people more and give them that kind of one-on-one that I would be giving to like our one-on-one clients, but in a group program. But I was just like, yeah, I was like, how am I going to like break this up? How is this going to like different? How do I also support? And one of the things that really drew me to you was like, let's not just like throw a course together and add a bunch of Zoom calls and like call it a day. It was, you're so intentional about how can we really create a container and support for clients that they're actually going to find useful, right? And they're actually going to get that support, because I think like also a lot of us are zoomed out. I think sometimes showing up for those Q&A calls on Zoom, they're, sometimes people, there are questions they want to ask, but they not may not feel comfortable asking them like on a Zoom call, or I just think that like we can be zoomed out. I think there are other ways we can support our clients. And so one of the reasons I wanted to work with you is because I really wanted to create something that made sense, where I wasn't overwhelming people with too much content, but that also I was giving them the support that would actually like help them get to where they wanted to go. And so just even brainstorming like different ways that we could work with people in our courses and programs, like it gave me so many ideas, and I was just like, there are better ways like we can do this to make the course and the programs better. um so just kind of getting out of my head and like thinking outside the box a little bit too, I think.
Yeah,
um
I agree with you. There's a lot of people out there, and I've been in masterminds where there's just a very, very big list of Zoom calls. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't need more Zoom calls. I need to make the time that I
yeah,
use more effective. And if the
yeah,
communication method is going to suit the outcome, then I'm going to go 100% into that. So, like, one of the things that we talked about
yeah,
was maybe using Voxer, or maybe just
yeah,
having some more forms for people to fill out, or like a place for people to ask questions. And you had already been very familiar with how you ran Amplify. So, it was just about maybe thinking
yeah,
about some options without having to start from scratch, that was going to give you the space and time that you needed to for your kiddo, for your
yeah.
family. And I think that was really great that we were able to brainstorm some of those ideas.
Well, and yeah, and the other thing that I love, because I think, you know, I'm really big on, it's like I don't need, yeah, like all the calls on, like I just need the answer, or I just need like the clarity. And so even in our work together, I felt like we got so much done in such a short period, and I got so much clarity and like next steps from that, that it was just so nice to have. And because what was it like? Was it 90 minutes? I don't
Yeah.
even remember. It was like super short, but it was just like we knocked out so much. And I think that that's what a lot of people want too is, we're busy and we only have so much time and we only have so much energy. So how can we, yeah, get people the information that they they need, but in a way that's like effective, that, they're not having to sit there and watch like millions of hours of videos and sit on Zoom calls forever, hoping to get like ask their question, right?
Right. I think that's really, really important. Many people are just totally not just zoomed out, but they're overwhelmed with content. And so the point
Yeah,
of the content isn't to overwhelm. And I think that having great curriculum is totally important, but really helping set people up for success is really the end goal. So if we can create a faster
yeah,
path or an easier path, then we'll stand out. And sometimes that will really help people make that buying decision, because it helps to
yeah.
differentiate us. What's different from someone who's offering a mastermind call with 14 Zoom calls and somebody who maybe is offering a group program that's much more refined that says you're going to put in, after you join in, you're going to get access to a onboarding form and you'll fill out all the details of your questions and you'll
Mm,
feel fully supported knowing that you're going to have all of your Facebook ads questions answered by myself and by my team of
right.
experts. And I mean, that to me just stands out so much. Then here's a bunch of Zoom calls. You're going to get everything you need and, the bells and whistles when someone says, I just want to know this one thing.
This.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And I think that was the other thing is I felt like, and we talked about this, like the membership, because I do think it's easy, like we want to create content, we want to give people, what they need, but it's easy to kind of go overboard. And I felt like over the 3 years of the membership, we had added so much to it that it was overwhelming. And so I wanted to streamline that. But it was hard. I also just think it's hard when it's your stuff, like you're looking at it. And I was like, I just need you to like help me with this because like I'm in it, I see it. Like I need someone that's an expert that's looking at it from the outside to say, okay, this is how we can streamline this and then just like pull it all together. So it is like, okay, here's your roadmap. Like, here's where you start, here's where you go next. And it's just very clear and easy for people to navigate instead of feeling like they're dropped into a membership with just like tons of videos and like, where do I go? Like, what do I watch first? So,
exactly. Yeah. I had another client who also has a membership and a group program, and she kind of said the same thing that over the course of several years, she looked at her membership as a buffet, but then people weren't eating. They were just
yeah,
too overwhelmed with the content, so they never got started. And then inaction then leads to what is known as churn or like attrition, people
sure.
leaving or removing, and then or just stagnation, and you're not getting the students they're paying, but they're not getting results because they're not taking action. And then less
Yeah,
testimonials for you, less sales for you. There's not
yeah,
as much social proof. So streamlining and cutting back on some of that and or refining it can actually build a better long-term success and growth
yeah,
plan for testimonials, decreasing attrition and increasing engagement even if attrition isn't a big deal.
yeah.
I think that it's so, and these are like really fun stuff. I feel so nerdy talking about it, but I actually love talking about this. So okay, so I did have a couple questions that some people had posed, and one of the questions was related to your membership and growing a membership with Facebook
Yeah,
ads. So, could you talk a little bit more about lead generation and some of the campaigns that you've run for yourself and your clients to help them get success with selling
yeah.
specifically digital products, memberships, or group programs?
Yeah, so I think the first thing to know about like my approach to ads is I'm really big on just like keeping it simple and building your list. Like I feel like every course creator coach, like if you're selling digital products, it doesn't matter if it's a membership or like a high ticket program or course, you've got to build your list. But the good thing about this is just building your list. Like there's kind of different levels with ads. And I feel like most people want to jump, they want to skip over like step one and two and three and like kind of jump to step four. And then they end up making things more complicated. They're spending a lot of money on these like complicated funnels or building out complicated funnels. And then they've got to put a bunch of money into ads to test them. And it's like, really, let's just kind of bring it back and start with the foundation of building your list. Because if you have a list, then you can market those offers and ideas to your list. And so my approach was always like with the membership was just really simple is that I would run ads to freebies and then get people on my list. And then I would tell them about my membership. And so um, people would join that way. And so, and it was always open. It's not, we've changed kind of the approach now, but like my membership was like an always open kind of membership that people could join anytime. So we just had ads running and would just invite people to come join if they wanted to learn more about ads. So building your list, focusing on that because you've got a list, but also it's going to be an easy place to start with ads. You can test your messaging, you can test audiences, and then once you know what works, then you can start to put together, those kind of like more complicated funnels. But just start with the basics, I think. And it's something that I've used in my business for 8+ years to use to fill my membership, to book out our agency. Like, I think people think that freebies and lead magnets, they're like, oh, that's too simple. Like, it can't, like, I've got to do these more complicated things. But really, that's like the foundation. And that's literally what has built my entire business. So, keeping it really simple actually I think works best. And then it's you don't need a huge budget for that either. So it's a good place to start if you're on a smaller budget too.
Yeah, speaking of budgets, I know it's really important for people to consider where their money is being spent on marketing. And one of the things that we had talked about before was getting in front of the right audience. For me personally,
Yeah.
Facebook ads has been a huge time saver, especially when it comes to building up my email list. I run
Yeah.
Facebook ads during a live launch. And my goal is to also, work on evergreening parts of my offer suite. But I think that one critical thing is that people often don't realize how much goes into doing, yes, the very fundamental things like what's the opt
Yeah.
in, what's the positioning, and your messaging on a lot of your offers for your lead magnet, like the checklist for you had for Facebook ads and the first course that I purchased. I think it was Brilliant Facebook Ads or something like that. um
Yeah.
i I was like, this is so much clearer. I mean, I had grabbed so many checklists and guides and YouTube videos, and I just remember thinking, just spend the money, get the course, just go through it. And I bought it, and I remember thinking to myself, okay, should I join this membership? And the answer to that was absolutely. So once I did, I felt like so confident when the in the first 4 weeks, which to some people might seem a long time, other people might seem like that's a really short time. Within 4 weeks, I had built a lead magnet, created a landing page, built out like a tripwire, and then also had put some graphics together for my ad. And so to
Yeah.
me, I was like, oh, I could spend 20 minutes tweaking a reel that probably 5 people will see, or I could actually create something and then get 10 people on my list, or 50 people, or
Yeah.
100 people, or 200 people, depending on my ad budget. I can scale it up if it keeps doing really well. I could test the
Right.
headlines and the different things that I need. And what I found
Yeah.
was that just knowing who I am and the personality I have, I can create content. That's not the question. The
Yeah.
question is my content reaching the right people for the amount of work
Yeah.
that I'm doing? And ads really changed the game for me. So I'm really grateful for like your work, and I'm super excited that I
Yeah.
can help you with your work as well.
And I resonate with so much with what you said because one of the reasons I got into ads was I was just like, oh my God, like I'm on social media, I'm posting, and I'm just like, is anybody like seeing this? And it can be really disheartening when you spend a lot of time and energy like creating something and then you put it out to the world and like it's not that your content's not amazing, it's just that nobody's seeing it and we're fighting against the algorithm. So if you can take all of that amazing content you've created and get it in front of the right people, then for me that's really like a game changer. And I would rather pay to run ads to make sure that I'm reaching people than just kind of like putting it out there and like being like, okay, well, let's see how much reach I get today. Like, did I post it at the right time? Did I? And I'm also just like not great with social media. It's not like my favorite thing to do. We have an amazing social media manager that does that. for us, but I just feel like with ads, I have more control over who's seeing it. And consistently knowing that if I spend this much, I know that like I can add about this many people to my email list per day or per month or whatever it is. And then all that content you've created becomes evergreen content that you can keep using. You don't, I mean, of course, if you love to create content, you can, but a lot of that content you can put into ads and use that like in your campaigns to make
Yeah.
sure people are seeing it.
So
Yeah.
let's say that someone came to you and said, okay, I just completed a launch and it went well. I made sales, people are starting to buy,
Yeah.
and the program I'm delivering, it's really helping people. I'm getting testimonials. It's my beta program. If someone were to come to you and say that, and they say, okay, I'm ready to really just dial it up, I'm going to start with the Facebook ads. What would
Yeah.
you say about helping them with the evergreen process? Because there's a very large amount of people that have a huge desire to evergreen. But like, what
Yeah.
would you recommend?
So yeah, I'm a big fan of you need to test it live, right? Like you need to make sure that the offer that you have is proven, that people are excited about it, but also like the content that you're using, like however you're going to sell that, whether it's a challenge or a webinar, making sure those pieces work and connect and build that relationship with your audience. I feel like a lot of people, like we were just kind of talking about, it's like they want to jump into Evergreen before they've done all the kind of live launching, or they feel like when they go Evergreen, they've got to change up their content or their process. But really, it's taking those pieces that work well during your launch and just putting it into an Evergreen format. So it's not necessarily like making it fit into this like Evergreen like formula. It's taking what's already working live, and I just lost my earpod. Making that like your evergreen funnel, but absolutely testing it live. And I even test my evergreen funnels on my list first. So like when I've built out a new funnel or a new like evergreen offer, I'll actually promote it to my list. I'll send it out to my list and see how people on my list respond to it, even if it's an offer they've already seen, but it's in a different format so that before I run ads to it, I know if it's working or not. So I'm not having to spend a ton of ad spend testing. I already know that I've got something that people are responding to.
Yeah, it's definitely easy to feel like you have to go to the evergreen, and I know that I'm a big believer in validating your offer with your existing warm
Yeah.
audience first. And then once you kind of see, hey, it looks like this is working, I'm getting, I'm resonating, people are really actively engaged in this, then you'll know that, okay, great, let's kind of put some money behind this and
Yeah.
start actually amplifying it.
Yeah. Of course.
So,
And also like when you're launching, build your list in between your launches because I feel like a lot of people wait until their launch to start building their list. But if you're just like consistently building your list all of the time and then you're nurturing that relationship when it comes time to your launch, you're not having to like launch these campaigns and throw a lot of money at your ads and like hoping that it works because you've already been building your list and you've already been building that relationship and that connection with your audience. So for me, it's just like list build is that like foundation, and it's something that should always, like, I think you should always have running. You should, even if it's like $5 or $10 a day, right? But that'll make a huge difference when you do go to share new offers, programs, courses, whatever it is, because you'll have people on your list that are excited to hear about it.
yeah, it's so important, and it is also easy to get distracted by other things. But very
Yeah,
nicely invested
of
time,
course.
energy, and resources. So, finally, let's just talk about you. What is just one thing that you love about the programs that you offer right now? You offer multiple different programs for a different variety of audiences, from Facebook ads managers who are, prospective new ones who want to really dive in, or people that are just getting
Yeah.
started with Facebook ads. What's something that you're loving about your program so far?
Oh, I lost you. What was the
Yeah, so
question? I lost you that last second.
no problem. That's the beauty of live stream. So, what
I
is
know.
something that you love about the existing programs that you have?
So since our work together, it's just, I feel like there's such a nice flow for our clients and customers. So Amplify is just like perfect for beginners. And then we have our new scale program, which we're in the middle of like the beta launch, but which you helped to, or not the launch, but like the program. For people that want that next level of support. So it just feels like there's such a nice flow to them, and like we can support our clients and customers in a way where they're getting those results. So like doing the things like the Voxer hours and really getting to like chat with our like clients and customers and like really getting to hear like what's going on with their offers and their campaigns, and asking questions like we were talking about earlier that they may not get to ask on like a Zoom because they may not feel comfortable sharing like those numbers, or they just want to ask those questions like one on one. So it's really given me the opportunity to like go even like deeper, which I really love, and like really support people, I feel like, in a way that, they are getting better results. So that's been a lot of fun to like see the progress that people are making on like a weekly basis.
Yes, progress. I love it. All right, so
Yeah,
we've been talking so much about all the different ways that you've been helping people with Facebook ads, from lead generation, list growth is a big one I think was mentioned today. Is there anything
yeah.
that you would want someone to know if they were maybe considering working with me? I might have cut out a bit.
Working with you, oh, I mean, I think if anyone, yeah. No, I mean, I feel like if anyone, I just got so much clarity and so many ideas and things that I wasn't necessarily thinking about. Like, I feel like I was kind of stuck in like, this is the way I had been doing things. And I knew I was ready for a shift and a change, but I didn't know what that looked like. And you just helped me get all of those ideas and things out of my head. Like, I feel like I just showed up to that call and I was just like word vomit. I was like, here are all the things. Like, can you help me like pull this together so it makes sense? So that also like gave me the confidence, just knowing that like, okay, this all makes sense. This is nice and streamlined. And this is like how I can support our clients in a way where they're going to get better results. Because you put all this content together, and I feel like sometimes you put it out in the world and you're like, is this helpful? Like, are people like, is this what they need, what they want? Am I teaching this in a way that is clear and like people know where they're going? And so you really helped me get clear, like on that roadmap, and just like adding in little pieces that I could do um, to help people with that like overwhelm and like help them get started and know like where they're going. And then, yeah, we just got so much done in such a short period. It's like I still have notes and things that I'm working on from that session that I want to implement, that I'm excited about. Um, that I know are just gonna make things, like, better.
Yeah.
So, it's just
Yay.
a really amazing opportunity. So I think if anyone is thinking about working with you, if they need help, if they're feeling stuck or whatever it is, like, I just had all these ideas and I couldn't, like, pull them all together. Like, it was just you just, like, made it so easy. I felt like I was stuck in spinning for, like, months in my head, and I was like, "What do I do with all this?" And then we just knocked it out, and it was so quick and so easy. But having that expert opinion, right? Because like you are so good at what you do and you're such a good teacher, and like that's your background. And so I was just like so excited to like have that feedback and input, um so that I could like make things better and take that next step.
Yes, thank you. That's so great.
Of course.
So, thank you so much, Amy, for talking with me today. I just feel like talking with you is always a brush of breath. Brush? I can see, I'm just like mixing myself a brush. Okay. Breath of fresh air. Um, my my mom brain is a little bit tired today. You can kind of see.
I get it. I
Um,
get it. Yeah.
But it's just so great to talk with you. And if anyone is really interested in checking out with what Amy is doing with Facebook ads, you can head on over to Amy's website. It's going to be available in the link in the description. Go check out amycrane.com. Um, Amy is fantastic with Facebook ads, whether you're brand new with Facebook ads or you're ready to scale with an Evergreen launch campaign. Or you're just thinking, hey, maybe I'm a social media manager. I've got some offers that I want to create and help people manage the Facebook ads piece. Amy has truly done it all. Unicorn in Facebook ads space and a fantastic teacher. So if you're looking at creating some awesome content with Facebook, generating new leads, getting more traction, getting more visibility, and getting paid, Facebook ads could be the solution for you, and Amy is your person. So, Amy, where else can people find you these days?
Yeah, so amycrane.com. We're on Facebook. It's Amy Crane. I think it's just at Hey Amy Crane now on Instagram and Facebook too. Yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And if
Thank
anyone has any other
you.
questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And if you have any other questions about creating and selling a premium program and delivering it with ease so that you can have a beautiful life and also get the revenue that you deserve as a service provider with a premium program, please do reach out to me. I would love to see you. I'm going to be hosting some really exciting events this week inside of the Premium Program Summit. I would love for you to all to attend. So grab the link below to get your ticket to the Premium Program Summit, where you can join me and 15 plus experts, including Amy, to hear all about how to create, design, deliver, and fill your premium programs. That's it for today's session. Thanks so much for watching. I will catch you soon. Bye.